prices to you in a very boring way, because it's mainly promotion for the company. And I'm sure you haven't travelled to London today to know what flavoured chocolate they're selling downstairs. It's probably melted anyway. So your second option is I could stand out here with you lovely people and give you a form of a live commentary. We are not professional tour guides, we are just your crew. Goes back generations of our family, mine, up until the war, to work on this river to become a Queen's Walkman. So this is our local knowledge we pass on to you to make your journey, or try to make it a bit more enjoyable. So is that okay, folks? Would you all prefer a live commentary today? Yeah, fantastic. Still the same 10 people understood the safety net. So that's what we'll do, ladies and gentlemen. As I say, just bear in mind we are not professional tour guides, so if you think I'm lying to you at any stage of your trip today, you're probably right. Just keep it to yourself. We'll start with the Royal Festival Hall to your right hand side, the last remaining concert hall to stand from the festivals of Great Britain. They used to do concerts inside of that building to boost morale after the war. The very first artist that performed inside of the Royal Festival Hall was Jimi Hendrix. After that they had David Bowie, Whitney Houston and also Frank Sinatra have all performed inside the Royal Festival Hall building. The bridge in front of us is Waterloo Road Bridge, the longest spanning bridge on this river at over a quarter of a mile long. But it's also known here in London and on this river as the Ladies' Bridge, because it was built in the Second World War by over 95% female labour workforce, while the men was off fighting for king and country. And of course, as the ladies would choose to do, they chose the most expensive stone to build this bridge from. They chose a Portland stone which is self-cleansing. As you can see, the outer edge is rather clean compared to the dirty underneath. So when it does rain here in London, which I'm sure you know that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, the outside of this bridge, it will get a wash. The same stone is built on Buckingham Palace, St Paul's Cathedral, and also around Tower Bridge. As we pass beneath the Ladies' Bridge, over to your right, the south bank of the River Thames. Now to do the journey we are doing, which is left the London Eye, all the way down to Tower Bridge, it would only take you about 45 minutes to walk. It's the only side of the river you can walk directly along the Thames. But behind the trees on the south bank, you see a large concrete structured building with the electronic billboard at the top. To me that looks like a multi-storey car park, but that is London's beautiful National Theatre. And inside of that theatre you have two of the finest here in London, the Olivier and Littlewood Theatre. But there is an old saying you've all probably used and heard of before that goes, don't judge a book by its cover. That really does go for that theatre, ladies and gentlemen, because that theatre here in London for over the last 12 years in a row has been voted the ugliest building to sit alongside the banks of the River Thames. And you can see further downstream the building with the scaffolding from top to bottom. The blacked out windows and the white stone. Looks like a block of flats. This is the new Kent House, and that is the ITV filming studios here in London, where most of Britain's rubbish is filmed daily and put on our telly. Such shows as Good Morning Britain, The Loose Women, Britain's Got No Talent Whatsoever, and worst of all, the live ITV news, folks. All of that rubbish is filmed in the new Kent House. So if you do want to be on national television today, daytime news, you can wave out to that building as we pass by. If there's any gentlemen on board this top deck today with someone you probably shouldn't be here with, I suggest now's the time to look over to the left until we pass the new Kent House. And while we look over to the left, you see the white vessel, the Wellington. Look at the blunt end, the very back. Along the river wall, you'll see a little archway, Temple Arch and Gateway. What we're now doing, we're crossing the borderline that runs directly beneath the Thames riverbed. We're leaving the city of Westminster behind us. We're now entering the city of London, two cities within a city. Now as the tide floods into London, it's quite low. And not a lot of people believe me when I tell them this, that here in the capital city, we do have some golden sandy tropical beaches. Have a look at that to your right, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, isn't it? I call that the South Bank Riviera, where the lovely parents take their small, innocent children to go and paddle about in London's sparkling, polluted river water. What lovely parents. these children have got today. Not forgetting the broken glass and the rusty nails. Take them over there, folks, you'll have a fantastic day. Just make sure to get a tetanus jab on the way. You can see the orange brick building, originally Stamford Wolf Power Station. Originally, I say the old power station, then taken over many years ago or after by a meat company. And it was that company who came up with a famous OXO and stock cube gravy, as you can see from the walls and the chimneys at the top, with the glass windows spelling out O, X and O. Nowadays, this building, it is split up into 3 different sections. At the bottom, you have shops. In the middle, just done affordable housing. And at the top, the 5-star OXO restaurant is owned by fashion designer Harvey Nichols, said to be one of the most expensive restaurants on the south bank of this River Thames. To your left, another orange brick building, the old Zion College and Library, home to our Anglican clergy. Inside of that orange building, still to this day, there are books worth millions of pounds, even where the Queen keeps her personal diary and where the first Bible was translated over from Hebrew to English, and it's still the first edition inside the old Zion College. Now the bridges in front of us, folks, these are the Blackfriars Bridges. And these are the closest bridges together here on this river and on your trip today. And because these bridges are so close together, over the years, they have been given the nickname of the Tunnel of Love. And they say it will grant you 10 years good luck if you kiss a loved one by passing beneath these bridges, the Tunnel of Love here at Blackfriars. So as we do pass beneath, folks, don't be shy. You can all pucker up and give your loved ones a kiss. I promise I won't watch straight away, not to make it weird. As we pass beneath, folks, as I say, you can kiss your loved ones. But if you're not with any loved ones today, I have been told if you kiss your husband and wife, that may also work exactly the same. So give it a go. Any single ladies, I am available. Any single gentlemen on board? My good friend Ben, driving the boat, he's left his door open for you, so start a queue when you're ready. He does have a motto, 20 quid is 20 quid. He just bought a brand new house, so he must be going well for him. Over to your left as we pass beneath the Blackfriars Railway Bridge. You see the building with a gold cross and a grey dome roof at the top. St Paul's Cathedral, designed by Sir Christopher Wren, and it took him 35 years to build and complete. Stands at a height of 365 feet tall. Very easy to remember, so it's a foot tall for each day of the year. You can see above the grey domed roof there, the little walkway. Now to get to the top, ladies and gentlemen, it'll probably take you about 2 months because there are just under 600 steps. But you'll get the best views all across London because they're not allowed to build and overcast a shadow over Wren's masterpiece. So better views than the Shard and the London Eye in most people's opinion. To your right, the building with a tall chimney and a glass roof, another old power station, the Bankside Power Station. Now famously known here in London as being in the top 5 most visited tourist attractions as the Tate Modern Art Gallery, where you can go to see some of the greatest pieces of art from all around the world. And it does also say to the top right, the Tate Modern, it is free and open to all. That art gallery is completely free to enter, ladies and gentlemen. And if any of you on board this boat today have ever been inside of that building or ever seen what modern art looks like, you'll probably understand why it's completely free to enter, because it's all a load of rubbish. But over to your right on the south bank, you'll see a white thin house with a Ukrainian flag at the top and a little red door at the bottom. This is where Sir Christopher Wren lived all those years ago while building St Paul's Cathedral. As you can imagine, this ugly Millennium footbridge wasn't here. You didn't have all these offices and apartments to your left, so had a clear view straight across the river while building St Paul. But next door to that's the white rounded building with a thatched roof, oak beams, a replica of William Shakespeare's Rose and Globe Theatre. Now it's the only building here in London to be made from flammable materials. After the Great Fire of London, it was made illegal. For that reason, it did take them over 20 years to get planning permission to build that theatre that sits on the south bank of this river today. And it is open to the general public in our London summer months. It is a fully open-aired theatre, okay? That's why the only reason it's open in our summer months. I don't know why, probably open for about a week because we get so much. It would only cost you a small amount of just £5 to go and watch one of Shakespeare's plays inside the Globe Theatre. It's great value for money here in London for live entertainment. But the bridge in front of us, the Southwark Road Bridge, also known here in London as its Lee Shoes Bridge. And if you look left and right, you'll see why, because it's built into the back streets of the capital city itself. The only people we find crossing this bridge are what we call London's professional drivers. Taxis, buses, lorries and coaches. Even in Monday to Friday 9 to 5, you will not find this bridge very busy at all. They only built this bridge to help out with the traffic and congestion on the old London Bridge, a bit further downstream in front of us. As we pass beneath Southwark Road Bridge, look over to your right hand side, you'll see a small little public house, or pub for short. And it is one of the nicest and oldest pubs on this stretch of the River Thames. It's called the Anchor Pub at Bankside, and it does have the red doors and the windows. Now that pub, as I say, is one of the oldest pubs here in London, on this stretch of the river itself on the south bank, because the Anchor Pub has now been there for well over 400 years. Shakespeare himself used to use it, they say, as a changing room before going on to put on a show at the Globe Theatre, as the original Globe was right next door where those flats are today. As you can imagine, over those 400 years, you've had a lot of amazing people visit that pub. Shakespeare himself, Samuel Pepys, Christopher Wren, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and myself, of course. Thank you very much. We did say amazing people. As we pass beneath the Cannon Street Railway Bridge, over to your right, the old London area, the London Borough of Southwark. Illicit housing, gambling dens, crooks and villains, the old slums all those years ago. And I should know that because this is where me and the generations of family from. We're all crooks and villains, you see. And you can see at Pickford's Wall, a little inland dock there to your right. The back end of an old pirate ship, a working replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. That replica has also circumnavigated around this globe twice, like the original once did. The original put on task by Queen Elizabeth I to go round the Spanish Isles stealing golden treasure from the Spanish Armada ships. Nowadays, the children, they can go on board that vessel where they dress them up as pirates and they run around and play for a couple of hours. Why the children do that? Well, mum and dad, they go to the pub next door where they do exactly the same. Because here in London, we do call that a traditional family day out. Leave the kids with strangers and go get drunk. It's the only way we survive. You can see Southwark Cathedral in between the gaps of the buildings to your right. The Harvard Chapel you can see, named after John Harvard, the founder of Harvard University over in America, Massachusetts. This is where he was baptised by his father all those years ago, as he was a local butcher here in the East End of London, ladies and gentlemen. This is the old London Bridge, and it is the 5th London Bridge to span across this river in over 2,000 years. And a lot of people confuse this with Tower Bridge, and I'm definitely not lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't believe me, it's even engraved in the wall as we pass for it, so I'm not lying to you. But as I said, this is the 5th London Bridge to span across this river in 2,000. And if you look to your left in between the gaps of the building, you'll see a white stone column with a ball of golden flames at the top, monument to mark the Great Fire of London, also designed by Sir Christopher Wren. So the Great Fire started in a local bakery in Pudding Lane in 1666. To your right, London Bridge Hospital. Folks, this is the most expensive private hospital here in the capital city of London, and it is owned by the Kuwaiti royal family. And inside London's most expensive hospital, they do actually specialise in heart attacks. You see, you can go inside of that hospital with a sprained wrist or a broken leg. You'll have your treatments, you receive your bill, and if you haven't got it already, that's when you suffer the heart attack because it's that bloody expensive. Behind it, the Shard of Glass. Last year, that was the tallest building to stand in Western Europe, over 1,017 foot tall. That was designed by an Italian architect, Renzo Piano. He was offered £2 million for designing the Shard. However, he did turn it down. He asked for the penthouse apartment on the 75th floor. He got his wish, He had that apartment for 1 year. Then he sold it on to make a small profit of over £45 million. Not bad for drawing a triangle on a piece of paper. The old warship to your right hand side, where that lovely couple are practicing the famous scene from Titanic. Look how beautiful that is. It brings tears to your eyes. Or makes you sick, either one. Now you can see the Union Jack flag at the front of the vessel. This is the only Union Jack flag you'll see flying in this part of London. Any other flag that looks similar is just known as a Union flag. What makes it Union Jack is flying from the front of our Royal Naval ship from a Jack Star point, the mast, with a crown at the top or a little button. That's what makes it a Union Jack. Now she was built in Northern Ireland, Belfast, in the Holland and Wolff shipyard. That is the same shipyard as which the ill-fated Titanic was also built in. She last fired these guns in anger in the Korean campaign and helped support the D-Day landing. Those 6 cannons and guns we've just passed at the front also has exactly the same at their very back. They were so powerful they had the firepower by the weight of a 100-pound shell over 15 land miles. Very powerful, ladies and gentlemen. She's now open to the general public, a floating extension to the Imperial War Museum, as you can see. You can actually go on board the Belfast and visit all 9 decks from where the captain drove all the way to the bottom where the captain used to sleep. Over to your left, the Tower of London. The original part of this tower is the castle in the middle, and it's known as the Bloody Castle. Now I think they only give it the nickname, the Bloody Castle, because they put trees in a bloody way so you can't see it properly. But of course that's not true. That's where they say the torture and execution took place. That's also not true. No torture happened in the Tower of London, only on Tower Hill, a few yards back from where it currently sits today. But it's founded by William the Conqueror towards the end of 1066, and it has been a royal mint and a royal do and a place of improvement. As you can see, we've just passed our next stop to your left hand side. We're taking you a bit closer to Tower Bridge, because that's how nice we are on this boat, ladies and gentlemen. As we turn the boat around, Tower Bridge will be on your right hand side. As you see, we're just sounding the signal to turn left or port. We blow 4 and 2 to let the other vessels know this is how we manoeuvre. You can see the old craft ships, vessels, the private vessels coming up and down the river. And we have to have a licence to drive these boats, ladies and gentlemen. They can just get in our way, you see. They like to annoy us and get in our way. So we have to do our sign signals. They probably don't even know what they are, but by law, we have to do. The Tower Bridge is a half suspension and bascule bridge. Bascule, French for seesaw. The middle part of this bridge can lift up to a full 90-degree angle in under 90 seconds. That's why we call it the gateway to the City of London. And each side of the road in the middle of Tower Bridge that does lift, it weighs over 1,000 tons each. Very heavy bit of machine. And it's the only bridge anywhere in the world to be licensed by Lloyd's of London's insurance broker as being a ship or a vessel and not a bridge. Because where the bridge will open, which is 24 hours notice, you have to have a full-time crew, captains, mates and engineers who actually live full-time and taking these shift patterns, of course, on Tower Bridge. So which is 24 hours notice, they will open it for you. As we turn the boat around, folks, you'll get to see the Gothic style Tower of London. Now Tower Bridge, it would just stand there, just on its metalwork. They built a Portland stone around it to keep it clean and to fit in with its neighbour at the Tower of London. But it does look older than what it is, just under 130 years of age. Now ladies and gentlemen, please listen carefully to the information I'm about to pass on to you, okay? If you can do, please remain seated now while the boat is moving into Tower Pier. As you know, boats do not have brakes, ladies and gentlemen, so we use the tide to do the work. The tide is now flooding into London, which it will do for 5 hours. So as we get to the pier, we're going to turn the boat again and face the incoming tide. Makes it a lot easier for us to manoeuvre the vessel about, okay? And a lot of ferry boats use this pier, so just take your time, ladies and gentlemen, moving about, as it causes a bit of wash and swell. So we do ask that you remain seated for your own safety. Now once this boat leaves Tower Pier, we'll be going all the way down to Greenwich, pushing against the incoming tide. So we'll add a little bit of time onto our journey. We won't be down to Greenwich for about 35 minutes, that's how long it'll take. We wait there for half an hour and then we come back to Tower and Westminster, of course. So we won't be back here at Tower for well over an hour, ladies and gentlemen. And if you do have a big bus ticket, there are no buses down in Greenwich. Your bus stop is just at the top of the road at Tower Hill, okay? So you're not permitted to travel down to Greenwich, or they will charge you extra to go there. Now if you do want to go back upriver by boat, you can also do so. You change here, you get off this boat and you go to gate letter B.